fishes invigorate.
Without further ado, I see my good buddy up there on the screen, the 2016 Bassmaster Open champ from the James River, Charlie Hartley.
Yay! Good job, Charlie.
Dude, if I can phrase it correctly, I always say fishing is wonderful. It's full of wonder. And I know that sounds like Peter Pan and pixie dust, but that's one of the ways I get through.
That's how we live.
I get through being Charlie Hartley. I don't get a lot of victories. I don't get a lot of top tens, but I love to fish, Pete. And I'd go fishing every day, whether there was money on the line or not. And when you catch a fish in a tournament, it's even more exciting than when you're just goofing around. And that's why I enter tournaments. And every once in a while, I catch too many, and they move me up to a bigger circuit. And next thing you know, you'll be in the elites. Watch out, watch what you wish for. But I just love to fish, Pete. I felt like the luckiest guy in the world getting to drive down to the James River to even get to do that. And to drive back from the James River with a trophy, I even felt luckier. I really enjoy fishing. There's not many times in my life I can clear this crazy mind of mine, but when I have a fish on the line for a few moments there's nothing else going on in the world but me and that fish, and that's a pretty peaceful feeling.
So take us through that, right? You won this tournament, right? You were steady. You never hit it out of the park.
I won that tournament, Pete. I won that tournament.
You won. You crushed it. You crushed it by being steady and by making that hard call to go to new water. What did you do on day 3? How did that day roll out for you?
Man, I'll talk about the whole tournament if we got time. Day 1 was so great, Pete. It was one of those days you dream about. I went right to them, caught them, and every place I went after that, I bettered my bag, and I even left early. You know, it was one of those days like timing was perfect. Mm-hmm. Day 2, Mr. Iaconelli got there ahead of me, and timing was not perfect. I struggled all day, and luckily had one good fish, one 5-pound plus fish, and that was my worst day. I had 11-7, and that really made it simple for me to decide not to go back to that marina or to any of that hard cover that Mike and I had been pounding. So I went to waypoints. They were fresh waypoints to me. They were places I'd gotten bit in practice, but they were not in my top 10 list. But they moved up to my top 10 list just because I hadn't scraped all the wood off the side of the pilings there yet. And really frustrated with myself the third morning. I blew like my first 5 opportunities, and I thought, here you've made the good decision to go to fresh water, and now half of it isn't fresh anymore. You just burned 5 fish. And after all that work, I finally put one in the boat that was 12 1/8 inches. I thought after 2 hours of hard work, look at that. Congratulations.
That's tough.
But it just slowly got better. It was never a day I felt like was going my way. It was never a day I felt I had a chance to win a tournament. Matter of fact, my best fish the third day was one of those gut calls, Pete, that we one of those instinctual things. I was running to another set of docks, and there was a cypress tree sticking out by itself, and it said, if you don't stop and flip at me, you're an idiot. And I was almost an idiot, but I let off the gas just in time and hit the power poles, and that ribbon tailworm no more hit the knee of that cypress, and I caught my best one of the day, and that was fish number 2, and that really helped me out. I needed that to happen right there, and my brain was going to a bad place, and I slowly upgraded all day. Next thing I know, well, I didn't upgrade. I got 5, and then I started upgrading, and all these little things have to go right in a tournament. I never realized how many things got to go right to win. The last 2 times I got into the well to call, I had a fish that was belly up, and my co-angler said, you got one belly up? And I go, I know I do, but he's too big to call yet. There's nothing I can do about it. And I caught that last good one, and I opened that live well, and there was no doubt in my mind that last fish was stiff as a board. Pete, we fished long enough. We know what a dead fish looks like. And I reached in there and put my thumb in that dead fish's mouth, and she wiggled like a little girl, like a small miracle. And I got to call her out.
That's awesome. There's the worm. What is? Do you want to talk about the brand or the color or what the deal?
Not for any reason other than I've had a couple other plastic sponsors nice enough to pay me, and this one hasn't ever. But it's a thick ribbon tail. You can get it in Florida. Most people will recognize it when I say Florida. I just it's the first time I've had a chance to do something good for a bait company, and I wish I'd have caught them on a Bondi bait or a Venom lure. Daggone
it! well, that was a June bug color. Was that the color you were using?
It was, but I don't know that it mattered. In practice, I started running low on June bug, and I went to some secondary colors, and they bit them just fine. Wow. I really believe we put a lot more into color than we should. A lot of times in practice, I have to go to secondary colors prior to the tournament so I don't run out. And it really seems like action and shape and profile is more important than color. As I've gotten older, I just go to bed real early.
How many cups
When I was young, I really needed no sleep, just like your husband. But I've been trying to warn him, age will mellow him whether he likes it or not, and he will need more sleep. It's one of the biggest handicaps I've had is requiring sleep. One of my greatest advantages in the world was never being smarter or brighter than anyone. It's I could work 22 hours a day, but now I'm more immortal. But
Charlie, what do you do for a living outside of fishing?
I own a business called SignCom, and we design, manufacture, and install signs. We do a lot of shopping centers, banks, restaurants, and even that's related to fishing, Becky. I found SignCom through fishing, believe it or not. It's a great little story. To me, that just the other day, the guy who does his signs couldn't get any good help at all, and he goes, I don't know you very well, but I'll introduce you to the guy. So I went and met with the guy, and he offered me a job at $200 a week, which looked a lot better than McDonald's. I wasn't going to have to clean up grease behind the fryer, and I was making a little more money. Long story short, I went to work for a guy, didn't know anything about signs, didn't know anything about sales. But just like in fishing, I was the first one there every morning. I showed up every day, and I kept trying harder and harder. And long story short, he eventually started approaching me about buying the business. And I told him I didn't want to own a business. I'd saved all the money he was paying me, and I was going to go be a Bass Pro and live in the back of my truck and eat bologna sandwiches. And he was getting worried because locally I was doing pretty well. I had a couple years locally. I won like $60,000 or $70,000, and bass fishing was getting pretty popular. And he thought I might actually go off and be a Bass Pro. And the guy was such a class act. It wasn't until he couldn't hide his health problems anymore. He was full of cancer at a young age, and he asked me on his deathbed if I'd reconsider buying the business. And it was the opportunity of a lifetime, but I thought I was signing away my bass fishing dream. I really thought I had just signed away to conform with society and wear a suit and tie, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be like Mike Iaconelli and all my heroes, and it ended up being the way that I could be like Mike Iaconelli. So it's a really great, wonderful American dream story. Without SignCom, I'd even be skinnier than I am if I had to live off my fishing winnings. So thank goodness for SignCom. It allows me to chase your husband and Kevin Van Dam around the country and pursue my passion.
That's awesome.
Nope.
That's
Becky, Mike and I started fishing almost the same time at the Invitationals, and the first time I was ever on TV when I did well, him and Kevin Van Dam were in the boat together on TV. I still have that videotape.
Wow.
That's great.
That's precious videotape. Your husband was such a goofball back then. wasn't he?
Yes.
Still is.
I know.
Well,
I
he
know
looked
still
weirder.
is.
He looked weirder.
He definitely
back
looked
then.
weirder.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's still the
The
same
80s?
odd personality, but his looks were just.
Yeah.
He was scary looking. Oh,
80s, like the 80s look.
he scared this little Midwest guy.
90s.
Well, 90s, yeah. But I'm like,
Yep. Well, Charlie, here's what's going on. You're talking about stepping down off the elites. Guess what?
Yeah.
You're back with the big boys in the
Yeah.
2017 Classic.
Awesome.
Swinging for the big prize.
Yep.
How does that feel? You got to be so excited about that. How's it feel to be back in the big show?
You know how exciting that Classic was for me. Everyone thinks I won that Classic. They forget Alton did, just from all the coverage and media I got out of that. So I'm excited to go into another one. I just hope it's not anticlimactic, and it won't be for lack of preparation. I will move to Conroe in the next few weeks once Champlain's done. I will know Conroe better than any guy in the tournament. I will not be the best angler at the Classic, but I will be the one that is most prepared, and that almost won Hartwell for me, and we'll see what it happens at Conroe. Wow. I can't wait. The lake's full of big fish. It's loaded with docks, and we're there at a great time of the year.
Man, well, Charlie, congratulations on your great win and your Classic, qualification. I mean, I love pulling for you, and I'm going to be pulling for you down at the Classic, and I'll be seeing you at Champlain in a couple weeks, and that'll be my last stab at trying to get my Classic ticket. But
feel free to share any of those mega schools with me, Pete. You know what good friends we are. You can help me out. Don't help Ike out any.
Well, we'll certainly touch base, and maybe we'll have some more of that fried chicken up there at Champlain again this year.
We'll put my trophy on the table this time.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's awesome.
That would be awesome. Congratulations to you and Tracy. And for those people that want to follow Charlie Hartley, Facebook, Twitter, social media, website, what do you got going on?
I got just me. I've never spent a lot of time marketing Charlie Hartley, so really Bassmasters does a great job for me. I got a Facebook page, but it's not active, but I love all the comments. The comments and the feedback and the accolades after this win have been better than the trophy. Pete, you know as well as I do, words of praise from your peers mean the world in this game, and it's been a great week, man.
Well,
that's awesome.
You deserve every bit of it. That was a very difficult tournament you won, and congratulations again. Good luck at the Classic. Thank you so much for carving out a little time to talk with us tonight, buddy.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really enjoy doing this stuff. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun, and we'll catch up with you real soon. Great Charlie Hartley.
Great.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie.
Congrats,
Yeah,
Charlie.
baby.
Good luck with the Classic.
Hot and hearty, delicious.